Good morning. I am calling to order. Okay, just a moment.
We're on camera, you just can't see it.
All right, just a little fussing around up here. Good morning. I am calling to order our City Council meeting of May 1st, and the clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Present.
Gordon.
Here.
Connor.
Here.
Wright is absent. Bender.
Here.
Yang.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Quincy.
Here.
Warsami is absent. Goodman.
Present.
Fry.
Here.
President Johnson is absent. Vice President Glidden.
Here.
There are 10 members present.
Thank you. And I will recognize that Council Members Reich, Warsami, and Council President Johnson are absent for city business. Next, I will move to amend the agenda on behalf of Council President Barbara Johnson to include under the order of motions a motion to nominate Maureen Johnson, C.A. Smith Lumber Company, and C.A. Smith Lumber and Compo Board Company properties for local historic designation. Can I get a second on that, please? Second. All those in favor say aye. 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 Now, is there a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
Move adoption.
All those in favor say aye. 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 Next, is there a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of April 17th, 2015?
Move acceptance.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And next, we have referral of petitions, communications, and reports of the city officers to proper committees and departments. Is there a motion on this?
Move referral.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Next, we turn to reports of standing committees, and the first committee is Claims, which is chaired by Councilmember Goodman.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Claims Committee is bringing forward 8 claims for approval this morning. I will note that all of the claims have been denied other than item number 4, which is authorizing the payment in the amount of $1,148. With that, I'll move items 1 through 8 for approval this morning.
All right, Councilmember Goodman has moved approval of the report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Vice President Glidden.
Aye.
There are 10 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we have Community Development and Regulatory Services, and I will recognize Councilmember Goodman to present the report.
We have 14 items that are in front of us for approval this morning. They are a variety of liquor, business, gambling license applications, as well as some rental license reinstatements and license conditions. I'll just make a special note of items number 10, 12, 13, which are all grant applications to various county, Met Council, and state pools for redevelopment projects, as well as item number 11, which is moving forward with an RFP for the sale of almost 100 lots in the Humboldt Greenway area. We had a very nice presentation in committee with regard to this, and very happy to see it move forward. So with that, I'll move items 1 through 14 for approval this morning.
Thank you. Councilmember Goodman has moved items 1 through 14. Any discussion on any of those items? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Vice President Glidden.
Aye.
There are 10 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we have the Public Safety, Civil Rights, and Emergency Management Committee with that committee's chair, Councilmember Yang.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We have 6 items today on the public safety agenda. The first item is to authorize an execution of a contract with the Downtown Improvement District to receive funds in the amount of $28,730 for police officer support of the Downtown Summer Community Engagement Program, and authorizing proper city officers to sign the contract agreement. Second item is to authorize the execution of 3 MOUs in the amount of $20,000 each with the sheriff's for Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, Metro Transit, and Minnesota State Patrol for the 2015 Safety Initiative. and that's to defray costs for jet patrols. The third item is to authorize execution of a contract with Jada Toys, Inc., permitting them to produce and market die-cast replicas of MPD patrol vehicles. Item number 4 is to authorize execution of a contract with the University of Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine in the amount of $1,035 for canine veterinary care for new dogs. The fifth item is to authorize execution of a contract with the University of Minnesota in the amount of $11,122 to provide bomb unit and canine unit security at concerts at TCF Bank Stadium. The sixth item is to authorize execution of a contract with the County of Hennepin on behalf of Hennepin County Sheriff's Office for payment of fees for pretrial detention, the Hennepin County Public Safety Facility, and authorizing any documents necessary to effectuate the agreement. And with that, I will move all 6 items.
Thank you. Councilmember Yang has moved all 6 items. Anyone wish to take any item off? Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Vice President Glidden.
Aye.
There are 10 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we have Transportation and Public Works with the Vice Chair of that committee, Councilmember Palmisano.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. I have 6 items to bring forward today from Transportation and Public Works Committee. The first is a resolution opposing legislation to increase truck size or weight. The next 2 are resurfacing and renovation projects on 31st Street East and 26th Street Avenue North. Numbers 4 and 5 are cooperative agreements. Number 4 is the 7th Street Ramp Project, a cooperative construction agreement with MnDOT. The 5th is the Federal Highway Safety Improvement Program funding with federal funds. And item number 6 is a series of bids. With that, I move approval of all 6 items.
Thank you. Councilmember Palmisano has moved approval of all 6 items. Discussion on any of those items? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Vice President Glidden.
Aye.
There are 10 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we have Ways and Means with that committee's chair, Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ways and Means brings forward 15 items for your approval today. The first are the 5 legal settlements. Item number 2 is related to Creative City Roadmap work groups. Items 3, 4, and 5 are bids for related projects at the Convention Center. Item number 6 and 7 are lease agreements for space at the Mill Quarter Ramp and agreement with Minnesota Department of Transportation. Item number 8 is the traffic maintenance building renovation project. Number 9 and 10 are related to health grants. One is the Staple Foods Ordinance Research Project grant, and the other is the School-Based Clinic Program grant. Item number 11 is the Public Works Automated Dispatch Locating System. Item 12 and 13 are new appointed positions, first being the Director of Transportation Planning and Programming, and item number 13 is the Manager for Field Support. Item number 14 is the authorization of an execution with U.S. Bank Elevon for our merchant services contract. And the final item is the paid parental leave policy. Happy to move all 15 items for approval.
All right. Councilmember Quincy has moved approval of all 15 items. Is there a discussion on any of those items? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Vice President Glidden.
Aye.
There are 10 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we have Zoning and Planning with the chair of that committee, Councilmember Bender.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We have 2 items from Zoning and Planning. Both are review of projects that meet the threshold for looking at if they require an environmental impact statement or simply an environmental assessment worksheet. So for both of these, the Ritz Block development at 315 Nicollet Mall and the Superior Plating Site staff determined that an EIS was not required. And so I will move approval of the staff recommendation for both items 1 and 2.
Thank you. Councilmember Bender has moved approval of items 1 and 2. Discussion on any of those items? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano,
Aye.
Bender,
Aye.
Yang,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Quincy,
Aye.
Goodman,
Aye.
Fry,
Aye.
Vice President Glidden.
Aye.
There are 10 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we have the introduction and referral calendar. We have 9 items on this part of the agenda, and I will read through them, and then we will move to approve the introductions and referrals. Item number 1 is an ordinance introduction pursuant to notice. There's a motion by Fry to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13, Chapter 319 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to licenses and business regulations, open-air motor vehicle parking lots, for first reading and referral to the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee. This was amending provisions related to forms of payment. Item 2 is an ordinance introduction by Andrew Johnson to introduce the subject matter of the following ordinances amending Title 10 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to food code for first reading and referral to the Health, Environment, and Community Engagement Committee, deleting redundant language and adding or deleting language to remove conflicts with Minnesota statutes and rules. This relates to a general chapter, administration and licensing chapter, meat and meat products chapter, chapter 198 relating to soft drink manufacture and storage, and milk and dairy products chapter. Item 3 is an ordinance introduction by Councilmember Gordon to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 11, Chapter 231 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to health and sanitation, Public Swimming Pool Code for first reading and referral to Health, Environment, and Community Engagement Committee, adding or deleting language to remove conflicts with Minnesota statutes and rules. Item 4 is an ordinance introduction by Councilmember Gordon to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 12, Chapter 244 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to housing, maintenance code for first reading and referral to the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee, adding or deleting language to remove conflicts with Minnesota statutes and rules. Item 5 is an ordinance introduction by Councilmember Bender to introduce subject matter of the following ordinances amending Title 20 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to zoning code for first reading and referral to the Zoning and Planning Committee, establishing flexibility related to the conversion of existing buildings to single and two-family homes in high-density districts. And there are chapters relating to nonconforming uses and structures, residence districts, office residence districts, commercial districts, and downtown districts. Item 6 is an ordinance introduction by Councilmember Andrew Johnson to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13, Chapter 259 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to licenses and business regulations. In general, for first reading and referral to the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee, allowing temporary extended hours of operation licenses. Item 7 is an ordinance introduction by Councilmember Andrew Johnson to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13, Chapter 321 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to licenses and business regulations, secondhand dealers, for first reading and referral to the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee, amending, consolidating, and restructuring provisions related to secondhand goods. Item 8 is an ordinance introduction by Councilmember Andrew Johnson to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to licenses and business regulations by repealing Chapter 315 relating to motor vehicle lubricant dealers for first reading and referral to the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee. Item 9 is an ordinance introduction by Councilmember Andrew Johnson to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 20 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to zoning code for first reading and referral to the Zoning and Planning Committee, amending regulations related to commercial murals. And this includes chapters that relate to introductory provisions, on-premises signs, and that is it. So on items 1 through 9, all in approval, please say aye. Aye. And those items are approved. Next, we have resolutions. We have 2 honorary resolutions. The first is an honorary resolution recognizing May 2015 as Older Americans Month in the city of Minneapolis. Item number 2 is a resolution declaring the week of May 3rd through May 9th, 2015 as Public Service Recognition Week in the city of Minneapolis. And I'll just make a short comment on item number 2, the which I have authored, which is the Public Service and Recognition Week. In years past, sometimes we have done a presentation at the city council meeting, and the reason we did not is because we actually have quite a week planned with a lot of events to really significantly recognize our employees. And I think it's going to be a very special week. It's also the first year that we have had the Star Awards, and we have a big celebration planned with some awards being given in the Rotunda on May 13th, and then an additional short ceremony here right before our Committee of the Whole meeting on May 13th. So I just want to say thank you to my colleagues, and I know Council President Johnson has been very involved in these preparations, as well as a team of employees throughout the city enterprise who have managed this process and come up with this recognition process. And I really want to thank them, as well as the many employees who have really given their all. So thank you very much. So on those two resolutions, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, and those items are approved. Next, we have the motion that was added to the agenda. This is a motion by Council President Barbara Johnson to nominate Maureen Johnson, C.A. Smith Lumber Company, and C.A. Smith Lumber and Compo Board Company properties for local historic designation, and direct the planning director to prepare the necessary documentation to bring the nomination forward to the Heritage Preservation Commission. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And that item is approved. Next, we have several items of new business. And we have 7 items under this category. The first is a notice of intent by Council Members Gordon and Palmisano to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of the following ordinances amending Title 20 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to zoning code. This is adding requirements for bird-safe design of skyways. And this would affect chapters relating to the regulation of general applicability and downtown districts. Item 2 is a notice of intent by Councilmember Reich to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 14, Chapter 362 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to liquor and beer, liquor licenses, which is amending provisions pertaining to off-sale malt liquor and distilled spirit sales, regulations for brewers and micro distilleries. Item 3 is a notice of intent by Councilmembers Yang and Gordon to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13, Chapter 281 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to licenses and business regulations, tobacco dealers, and this is regulating sales. Item 4 is a notice of intent by Councilmember Andrew Johnson to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13, Chapter 267 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to licenses and business regulations, amusements. This is repealing Article 9, musical jukeboxes. Item number 5 is a notice of intent by Councilmember Andrew Johnson to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to licenses and business regulations, repealing Chapter 296 relating to hospitals. Item number 6 is a notice of intent by Councilmember Andrew Johnson to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 13, Chapter 299 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to licenses and business regulations, ice sale and manufacture, amending and repealing selected provisions. And item number 7 is a notice of intent by Councilmember Andrew Johnson to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 15, Chapter 385 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances relating to offenses in general, repealing Section 385.70 entitled Hats, Conduct in Theaters. And my notes here say we take a voice vote, but I didn't think we actually took a vote on this item.
No.
Okay. So those are the items of new business. Next, we have announcements. And so I will ask if any council members have announcements. All right. We are sailing through. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
there a second? All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And we are adjourned. Thank you very much.